Our, our webinar today is to start a high-paying career with your science background, how to break into the booming clinical trial industry. And my name is David Silberman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clinical Research Fastrack. I want to welcome all of you who are joining us tonight. Thank you for taking time out on a Tuesday evening. And I also want to thank you, Thao, for joining us. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And before we get started, I wanted to just share a little bit about Clinical Research Fastrack. We're an organization that prepares professionals to enter the field of clinical research. And we train everyone from physicians who are principal investigators to brand new people who want to enter the field as either research assistants or clinical research coordinators or monitors. And as I mentioned earlier, we have graduates working at all kinds of organizations doing research, from hospitals to contract research organizations and pharmaceutical companies. And there are 22 states around the country. And it's such a thrill to have you here with us. And just to kick things off, Thao, can you tell us a little bit about your background? You told me that you're originally from Vietnam. You've lived in Phoenix for how many years have you lived in Phoenix?
So it's been 17 years, I believe. So
17 years.
I'm 25 now, but
and you recently graduated from college, is that right?
So I graduated about 2 years ago, so May of 2017.
Okay.
But I was I was on the pre-med route, so I was working as a medical scribe and I was studying for the MCAT. And then just life sometimes doesn't work that way, and then you just have to regroup.
So you were studying for the MCAT. You wanted to go to medical school, and is it you didn't get into medical school, or you're still applying? What happened in that process? What was your major again in college? Was it biology and pre-med?
So my major was public health and health sciences. So it's kind of like a very general science degree because I knew I wanted to do something in the science and health field, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And the reason why I took a few years to get ready for my medical school applications was I decided 2 weeks after I graduated college to go to medical school. And so I was missing a few classes. I had to study for the MCAT. But like the further I got into it, the more I realized that maybe it wasn't really the lifestyle I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I want freedom now to travel because it's something that I really enjoy doing. And I really want to help contribute financially to my family. So
yeah, so med school is a great option if you're super passionate and you're willing to give up the next 8 years of your life and do nothing else but study medicine. So you wanted a little more flexibility. And so how did you decide on clinical research? But before you even share that, I want us just to take a moment to talk about what is clinical research. Now, can you describe what clinical research is to our guests?
For me, clinical research is being on the forefront of medical interventions and treatments, and your role as a clinical researcher is really coordinating all of that between the physicians and the patients and really getting the patients the treatments that they need while complying to FDA regulations or other organizations. And so you're providing patient safety, but at the same time, you're really on the cutting edge of science.
Wow. So clinical research, one of the interesting things about clinical research is people hear clinical research and they think about laboratory research, they think about drug development, but the thing that distinguishes clinical research is we're looking for new treatments in healthcare, and we're testing those treatments on human beings. Yep. So this is after something has been tested in the lab and they think it's going to be great, it goes into human trials. And these trials take place in hospitals and doctors' offices. So how did you find out about clinical research? How did you even know that that was an option for you?
I honestly didn't until I came across Clinical Research Fastrack, and I went to one of the information sessions and I was like, what is clinical research? Like, what is this all about? And how I came across that was I was asking my friends, I was like, hey, so I'm just in this middle of studying, but I need more experience in healthcare to get ready for medical school. And so one of my friends pointed me your way. And then I came across clinical research, and it's still a learning process right now.
Excellent. So you're interested in doing something with your health sciences background. Medicine was a little too rigorous. You wanted a little more freedom. And then you found out about clinical research. And you came and you enrolled in our program. So tell us a little bit about the program. First of all, how long was the program? First of all, how long was this for you?
So the program is technically about a month long. So it consists of a 1 week pre-study, and it's an online component where I got introduced to what the terminology and the background behind clinical research. Then it was 8 days of in-person, and it was 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it wasn't easy, and it was for 8 days straight. And then after that was the post-study, which is more online coursework, but that was on top of a 2-week-long externship. And that was where I really got to learn. Wow.
So you did an externship, and where did you do that externship? Was it, tell us about the location. What kind of research site was it?
So I was very lucky to be placed at a Nexus site, and Nexus is one of the leading clinical research organizations in the world, actually. So they're based in Europe and in the US. And so it was during that time that I just really got to learn what a case report form was, and what a protocol was, and what a patient visit looks like.
Wow. So you did your externship at Nexus. And as you mentioned, it's one of the leading clinical research site networks in the world. And they have locations right there in Phoenix near you and around the country. We have students going to Nexus internships all over the country, from Texas to the East Coast to right where to California, in fact. And in classroom, you said it was pretty tough. There were long days, 10-hour days from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Who was teaching you in class? Who were your instructors?
So all my instructors were working professionals. They ranged from CRCs, clinical research coordinators, to monitors, to compliance officers, and to data managers. So pretty much all of these different aspects of clinical research that you can possibly think of. And so you're not getting just a one version of clinical research, you're getting different components and ideas of like, oh, this is what I can do with clinical research and where I can go with it.
Wow, that sounds great. And do you feel like you had a really solid education? You really have a good foundation of the core principles of clinical research from the course?
I thought I did, because the pre-study kind of helped introduce you to things, but it was like the personal development that I got through the teachers that I really started developing those skills. And so by the end of it, I was like, I'm ready to go, like, give me a job, like, I'm just going to start doing this.
Okay, and then you did your internship, and you told me earlier you thought they were going to hire you at the internship. Is that correct?
So they're like, we love you, we want to hire you, but we don't know when we can do that. And I was like, okay, I'll wait, because I love working with them, and I'm like, I can grow in this company, and I'm just excited. But one of our instructors, Jeannie, she encouraged me to apply, and I was like, I don't know. But she's like, worst case scenario, they pull back their offer, and worst case scenario happened. There was no offer.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me interrupt you there. So you loved your internship. They said they were going to hire. They loved you. They were going to hire you, and then it didn't come through. But Jeannie, what did Jeannie tell you?
What happened was they were in a transitioning process where they were moving people up to make room for a research assistant position. And they're like, we love you, we're going to hire you, but we have to wait for them to backfill. And so this was after I got hired at my current position. But so a month after my externship ended, they're like, we couldn't hire you anyway, because they were about to call me the day I started my job to offer me a position, but they couldn't because they couldn't get it approved.
So they couldn't hire you, but Jeannie, who's the director at the Fast Track, she said, hey, you should keep applying to jobs, even though you might be working at this other location. And where else did you apply? Where are you working now?
Okay, so my externship ended. I applied that weekend, and that Monday I got a interview. And so I went to the interview, and then I went to my second interview same week. They offered me the position, but I was really hesitant, and I just didn't see myself growing the company. So I actually turned down a job offer. And then the week after, Phoenix Children's Hospital called me for an interview. And then the week after that, I was hired. So between the time I applied and the time I was hired was about 2 weeks.
So it took you 2 weeks to find a job, and you had 2 offers during that time. Is that right?
I had 2 official offers and 3 unofficial offers.
So that sounds like there's a lot of opportunity. After taking this program, you were exposed to all these different opportunities, and now you're working at Phoenix Children's Hospital. What are you doing there?
So my role is a clinical research coordinator. So I'm off the bat, I'm running ahead. So so far it's a learning process, and I get to work on a lot of cool pediatric oncology studies. So it's very exciting.
Wow, that is really fun. Did you think you were going to find a job so quickly after taking the course in clinical research?
Well, I didn't think I was going to find a job so quickly, but I definitely didn't think it would be with Phoenix Children's Hospital. I applied because there was an open position. It was kind of like, I applied because it was open. It's probably not going to go through, and I just kind of pushed it back, and then they emailed me, and I was like so surprised, and then here I am.
Wow, well, congratulations to you. That's really exciting that you're able to take this program, get introduced to all these opportunities. You got a little push, it sounds like, from Jeannie, who was your instructor and director of the program, who said, keep applying, because if one job doesn't come through, there's others. And you did it. And I just want to share with everyone in the room this slide about the growth of the industry. Have you seen this before, Thao? This is from clinicaltrials.gov, and the clinical research industry has been growing almost exponentially. This is the number of registered trials in the United States in clinical research, and wow, it just keeps growing every year, which is just phenomenal. It's a booming industry. There were more drugs approved by the FDA last year than ever in history. And now, Thao, you're working in pediatric oncology. You're working on some drugs that may be the new drugs that get approved in 2019 or 20. That's pretty exciting. Is that exciting to you?
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I know this is a segment of healthcare, and a lot of people think about going into nursing or medicine, but this is a $150 billion industry that keeps growing, and not enough people know about it. And that's why we're doing this webinar, is to introduce clinical research to new graduates so they, like you, can join the field. How long have you been working now at Phoenix Children's Hospital?
It is currently my 4th week, and I'm loving every moment of it.
Wow. So you're brand new in the industry. What's some of your favorite parts of the job?
I think my favorite part is really getting to learn what oncology is, because it's always been an intimidating field. And now I get to work with some of the top doctors and some of like the top studies. And so it really fulfills that like learning component that I really care about.
That is so exciting, because you're learning, you're growing, and you're in this booming field. And there are thousands of jobs open around the country, over 68,000 right now in the United States. And so there's really a place for so many people who have this interest in healthcare and science to work, which is really exciting. Do you have any tips for people about moving into the field? What advice would you give to someone who's brand new, wants to get into clinical research?
My biggest advice is when you think about clinical research fast track, think of it as an investment in yourself and in your future and the possibilities. Because for me, this being a clinical research coordinator is just the first step. I can see myself going the compliance route, being a compliance officer. I can see myself going to regulatory and being a monitor. And I honestly can see myself maybe going to medical school later on too. So you never know.
Wow, very, very exciting. And then, Thao, it's been such a pleasure to have you with us. I want to take a moment to see if we can take any questions from the audience. It's been great to spend this time with you, but I just want to take a couple minutes. There's this Q&A section where people can ask questions. Do any of you who've been watching this webinar have any questions for Thao or I? And we'd be happy to answer them in the next few minutes. And also, if you have a question, but you're just a little bit shy to ask, I wanted to share these keys to success with everyone, because really, to get into this field, there's some things that it's almost a requirement. Clinical research is such an exciting field, but it really helps to have connections, to have experience like you got in that internship that you took. And just those 2 weeks, along with the proper training, can really help someone break through into this industry. Looks like we do have a question. Someone's asking about the fees that are involved in the Fast Track program. That's a great question. And this program is really almost like an accelerated master's program. So people getting their BA like you, maybe you're pre-med, maybe you have a health sciences background. This is an alternative to graduate school. And I don't know if you've looked, but graduate schools right now sometimes cost between $25,000 and $50,000 per year. And the nice thing about the Clinical Research Fast Track program is we have an intensive program. So as Thao mentioned, it's long days. Those were 10-hour days in the classroom. So we pack in what other programs train in almost a year, but we do it in 5 weeks. And the cost of our program, it's not $25,000 or $50,000. It's only $9,750. So that's a great question. People ask that a lot. And after 5 weeks, if you're able to start working in the field, you're earning money the rest of the year versus staying in a longer program for a year or two before you can even get a job. So thank you for that question. Is there any other questions in the audience? People have asked me, where do you train? So Thao, you trained in Phoenix, Arizona, and you're still in the Phoenix area. You're at Phoenix Children's Hospital. But we have training programs around the country. We have one coming up in Austin, Texas, Orlando, Florida, Raleigh, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia. So for those of you who are in different parts of the country, give us a call. Don't call now because no one will answer. It's a little late. But if you call tomorrow during business hours Pacific time, 602-883-7944, we'd be happy to talk to you about programs near you, or go on our website and that lists some of the locations where we're training. And then I just want to take one last question from the group. And then I know it's getting late. And again, go to our website, call us, email us. We're happy to answer more questions. But the question is, what jobs do most people from the Fast Track program get immediately after? So Thao, what is the job? What's your title right now? What is your role?
My role is a clinical research coordinator, and that is ideally the role you want to land right after the program.
Right. So you're a clinical research coordinator at Phoenix Children's Hospital in pediatric oncology. People are getting research assistant roles, which are a step below where you are now, but it's a great place to enter the field after taking this program. And don't be alarmed by the title, because you can still make a really great living, even though you have to work for a few months before you move up to the coordinator role. We have some of our students going straight into monitor roles, clinical research associate roles. We've had people go into data manager roles, to regulatory specialist roles, and also business development roles. So there's a lot of different opportunities in this field. It's a big industry, and that's a great, great question. Thao, I want to thank you so much for spending your evening with us today. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. And just hearing your story is so amazing, where you have a great medical background in the health sciences and public health. And you took that program, Clinical Research Fast Track, you took our program and were able to get 2 offers 1 week after finishing the class. That's incredible. And what you said, there were 3 other offers too?
Yeah, so there were 3 kind of other offers. They're like, we love you, we want to hire you, let us find a position to open for you. And so that's kind of what I meant. They're unofficial offers because they were looking to open a position for me.
Well, anyway, that's really impressive. And you have done such a great job, both in the training and moving into Phoenix Children's Hospital. And now some of your instructors who came to the class are your colleagues.
Yep.
And Thao, please keep in touch. We're thrilled to have you now as a colleague and a graduate of our program. And thank you again for spending time with us on a Tuesday evening. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right. You take care.